Hello, and welcome to the Two Dads Podcast live from the Celina Moose. I'm your host, OG Pickle. Some people call me Mitch. To my left, it's Slick Willie, Bill Ray. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fan-frickin-tastic, dude. The energy in here today is electric. I have so much to say, so much to get into right away. For those that are listening and just tuning in for the first time, unaware of all the promotions and everything we talked about, tell them what's going down here today so people can kind of get up to speed quick for our podcast listeners.
Yeah, we're at the Celina Moose Lodge 1473 doing our first live podcast. We knew we'd get here. We didn't know when we'd get here. We're 10 episodes in. This is episode 11. So we're at the Moose. The vibes are high. It's NFL draft night. So we got fans of all different varieties. I got a Bears fan, Browns, Steelers, saw a Packers fan other than you. Cowboys. That's about all I can see here from the captain's seat.
It's such an electric feeling here. You know, we talked about it. You said, would we get here one day? I thought yes. I'm trying to manifest good vibes and positivity and stuff, but I will say, would we think it would be episode 11? Did you think that deep down? I don't know. I don't know. Personally, I'm confident. I don't know if that was going episode 11, but nonetheless, one of the best sponsors. Did you think so?
No, honestly, I thought, when we talked about doing this, we had some ideas of, and I'm not going to say them all because we're probably still going to do them, but I thought like episode 25 or 30 was going to be our first live podcast, honestly.
I knew I wanted to do a live podcast. I didn't know when. I couldn't imagine it would be for an NFL live draft day.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited, and it was good to get here early. They've been so accommodating here. Ever since we got here, they were like, do you need anything? What can we do for you? You had said it earlier. You felt like a little bit of a celebrity.
Yeah, like a little local celebrity. Now I feel how Zach Rosenbeck feels when he walks around to all these bars
Every
everywhere.
time he gets up on stage, he shakes it a little bit more than normal.
Yeah.
You know he does. You know he leans into that gimmick, baby.
Yeah, so it's good. I'm excited. We got the family here. That's good. Got a bunch of Moose members here. Everybody's loving it. The vibes are high.
It's really cool to have everybody come and support us, too. Like I said, we've got a lot of wonderful messages about this podcast. We've had a lot of amazing supporters, but I dare say none have been as good as the Moose. The Moose has taken such good care of us. They've come up frequently again. They've told us, hey, we want to have you out for this. Could you come out for this? I think once you see it, we're packed in this garage, and you can watch it on YouTube, but once you see our whole setup, and if you check us out right now at youtube.com/2dadspod, you can check us out. But it makes more sense once you see it in person, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I think people out here, you see the eyes and it's kind of weird. Normally it's just me and you in the garage and it's kind of quiet. Now we got people watching us and I don't know, I'm embracing it. But, one thing I was curious of, you got out here about an hour before I did. I had to work. But outside of that, how was the setup? Because, we walk in the garage normally, we're ready to go. You had to put all this together. And I'm not a tech guy.
It was a weird you packed it all, so then when you packed it, I had to go grab it, but it was a weird sensation trying to pick it up and try to get it all back together, because once you have it cobbled together, it's kind of nice to keep it where it's at.
Yeah.
It took about 50 minutes. Not too bad, but I will say it was well worth it, because if for those, you'll have to check out our Instagram, for those that are looking on the sides and stuff, it just looks cool. They printed us a banner out front, our first Two Dads Pod official banner. You'll probably see it in the garage in upcoming episodes, but the setup was pretty easy, man. I can't wait to do this more. Actually, while I was doing it, I literally thought, I can't wait to go do this in more places, because now that I know the initial, oh gosh, setup teardown's done, then I know that, we can do this anywhere now.
Yeah, it's nice the setup went through. The only thing I'm mildly concerned about is the teardown. I don't know what that's going to look like when we're about 15, 20 beers deep on how we're going to get.
Yeah, this podcast will go, for those that are listening, we'll probably go to about the second round of the...
Second pick.
Sorry, yeah, second
round. We're going to be dead.
We're going to go to the second pick, which is going to be the Browns. And I want to make sure, because we're sort of at a Browns location. The Celina Moose Lodge 1473 is a Browns location. So I want to see if they screw it up. And if they do screw it up, I want high-quality footage here with all these cameras we've got around to see just how bad they mucked it up.
Let's be honest. It's the Browns. There's two options for them for me. I'm a Saints fan. Dart season. Jackson Dart's coming to New Orleans. But if they don't go Carter and they don't go Travis Hunter, they f***ed it up. Fudged it up. Sorry.
Oh, I don't apologize.
Yeah, that's fine.
Josh can bleep that out. No, we're having a good time. We're a couple beers deep. Celina Moose Lodge 1473. I brought some packs.
Hey-o, buddy.
Okay, I want to make sure we still talk about our operations, because we do have listeners from week to week, regardless of being at the Moose, that want to keep in touch with the truck and what's going on. But I dare say Let's open some packs here. I'm not eating the gum
I
this
kind of
time.
I don't think there's gum in this one.
There's not gum in this
Perfect.
one?
We don't even have the option to eat it.
If there's no option to eat the gum, fine, because if you listen to our last podcast, we ate gum from 1988, and it was no bueno.
Bang.
It was
off the rip.
Eric Davis right off the bat. I have Alvin
legend.
Davis as my first pick.
There we go. No, I really enjoy this. Look at this little one, dude. A year to remember, 1959.
I got 1973.
As you flip it a little bit, it changes a
Hey,
little
here's
bit.
Bill Long,
This
no
is
relation.
Old technology we're ripping through
Chris
here.
Brown.
Like the rapper?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Jack Armstrong. Berkey and I collect a lot of the Reds picks, so I make sure.
John Smiley, he was a Red. Dude, Tom Glavine, I like that.
You got a great bunch. I've got a bunch of trash here. And for those that are listening right now, we're just ripping our classic 1988 packs we got from the Wheel and Spoke Antique Mall a couple weeks back. We're going to try to rip through packs every time.
And we got about 50 more packs, so we're going to be doing this every episode until we run out or we drive back there and get more.
What do you think about this, though, Bill? You know, as we sit here and kind of take it in, the draft's here in a little while, about 44 minutes away. What do you think about this whole experience? Not just being here, but like being here at the Moose. What does it do for them? What does it do for us? Can you talk to us about just the cohesiveness of these two brands?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's a huge launch. Every new opportunity we do is massive, and for us to do our first live podcast is setting us up for adventures in the future that we have no idea. We have some really cool creative ideas that we want to do. I don't really want to tease them because I don't know how feasible they are, but they're a little creative and out there. But we talked to a couple of the chair members here, and they brought up a good point. Ooh.
You'll have some of these midway because we are live. You're catching some Browns chants in the background. We'll try to keep you updated with all these sights and sounds that happen. Obviously, we got some Browns chants. We had some pagers going off. We were hearing these like weird, like yelling
pages.
Just the food things going off. We're like, is a bomb going off? I'm not quite sure.
But for them, they talked about it. They talked about the Indian Lake Moose. They want to catch the Indian Lake Moose.
I love that. I love that they're competitive.
Yeah, so we are now in that. We want to help them catch the moose. So we want to keep putting them out on social, seeing them on YouTube, spreading the love. So if you want to be part of something special, something great, join the Moose today.
The Moose Lodge, 1473 Celina. I think all businesses, they talked about it with influencers in the beginning. Coming from my background, a lot of influencers did merch, and then they got into products, and then they started going to these cohesive, new, cutting-edge things and continually going to the next to innovate. You see Prime and Beast Burger and restaurants and all these cool things with influencers. I see that same thing happening with businesses.
Oh,
I don't understand why a business or any individual business, even Two Dads, we're just a food truck, why you wouldn't have your own podcast. And I think the reason is because it allows for a deeper connection. So many brands leave it at face value where it's just like, here's how you can participate with us, and that's it. Imagine if you said, I'm a super fan. I want to spend more time with your brand. How can I hang out? How can I do more? And I think this podcast is such a cool unlock for not only us to find legitimacy, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to seek legitimacy, trying to hook our horse or moose, as you said earlier, to the right wagon. And for them, what a way to get their message out in a new form, a new way, a new audience that they might not have been able to tap into. I just don't see this slowing down, and I'm so thankful to be here today, not just for us to be happy, but to come with a brand who's trying to do something different. I know you say something new, something unique, something different as the ad, but like really, they really are. Can you name another spot that's doing a podcast similar to this?
No, and there's only going to be one because we're going to be here with the Moose all summer, baby, because they're great sponsors, and we're going to continue to deal with them. But you talked about it a little bit, and we're going to tease it a little bit here, but you talked about Mr. Beast and, the merch line and everything else like that. I see you rocking a little bit of a Two Dad shirt there.
I see you rocking a Two Dads shirt.
We're both rocking a little bit of teasers. You got the Two Dads food. I went with a little bit of the podcast message. Hey, how are you? And we've had tons of people on Instagram and everything out reach out already. You put one post out. I
was wondering, because I want to do it if it's worth our time. If it's not worth our time to do merch, then why would we, I don't want to, we could spend our time better elsewhere. We put a poll out on Instagram, and I have heard sentiment and echoes in the background that was just like, hey, are you going to ever have merch, right? Like that was one of the big things. And I said, of course, yeah, maybe. I was never firm on it. I came from merch. So it's like being a massage therapist and coming home and then wanting to do massages for your family.
True.
You're just like, I'm kind of over merch, okay? But it makes so much sense for this brand. We would be remiss to not tap into that potential revenue, potential way to connect with the community. And again, we talked about it earlier, how to participate with us more. If you just want to wear a shirt to talk about Two Dads because the pod is so rad, I don't want to strip you of that.
Yeah.
So it's a cool way, and we put a poll up, and it was it was damn near 100%.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of votes on that. So I'm very flattered for listeners and community that are tuning into this. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to build such a cool brand that you guys would want to wear something, our faces, our slang, or even just the brand itself on a t-shirt. We are so flattered, and I thank you guys so much. And Bill, I know that it's close to home to you because you wanted to build t-shirts too, and to see your own tagline, "Hey, how are you?" on a shirt, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I mean, we put it out there, and we talked to a local sporting goods store, Albert Sporting Goods. Shout out Albert's; they helped us out here in a low turnaround time.
He's getting the free brand deals a lot. Zach, you're gonna have to figure out. We got to get a merch deal with Zach, or some paid
sponsorship.
Some sponsorship.
I mean, he gave us a ridiculously good price on these.
Okay,
so,
then Zach gets the plug. Shout out to Zach Albert.
Yeah, I did have to pay full price for the hat though. Jackson Dart season coming to New Orleans again, but no, I think we
listen to that plug underneath it.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but it's kind of surreal for us to be here so quick, and I'm just excited. But I think we got to get back to what we normally do. How was your weekend last week? I know we're a little later in the week, but it was Easter. How was it with the kids?
Us down. We talk about this. Mitch is moving a million miles a minute, and Bill is that yin to my yang, the zen that I need to slow us down. Let's talk about our weekends. My weekend, last weekend, it was Easter weekend. We got to travel to my mom's house. She lives in Nowheresville, Indiana, right next to. Where are you talking about, Indiana? You know what I'm saying?
Right on the corner of where are we?
Exactly. So, I got to visit Mom. It was her birthday. Shout out to my mom. You want to give, Albert's a good shout out, but shout out to Mom. Her birthday weekend. Tasha, me, and the kids got to go out there. We visited her. She was so happy. They run a greenhouse out there in LaPorte, Indiana, and man, oh man, the kids were running around greenhouses. It was great because during those seasons, my mom's super busy. It's greenhouses. As people that are listening can try to put it together, you don't got a lot of free time while the flowers are growing, right? So it was really nice to get the kids out there. It was really nice to spend time with Mom, especially as we're not getting any younger. I don't want to have this sentiment on. I've had a couple Miller Lights here and stuff. Shout out to Good Liar, but today I wanted to drink. But I wanted to say, make sure you spend time with your family. Make sure you call your mom, call your dad. I'm doing better at 35 years old now than I have ever, slowing down and really understanding it. And you can speak to it too, just briefly about, you lost your dad. And so one of the things that I wanted to be, honest about is make sure you call your family. Make sure you call that parent. Make sure you go take time, even a little extra, because we're all super busy to get that done. But that's...
Yeah, I think the big thing is everybody has those family members that are on the fringe, right? Maybe it's an uncle or an aunt. I feel like your mom and dad you're always pretty tight with, but some aren't really. I mean, I'm pretty tight with my mom. Was always very tight with my dad. So, holidays don't hit me like that, losing my dad, because he just was not a holiday guy in any way. He didn't give two flying if we did anything on the holidays. Easter didn't exist. Halloween didn't exist. Nothing existed. So we were just very old school when it comes to that. We might go out to dinner. That might be the extent of it. Our Christmas tree growing up, this is a great story, is a 3-foot tall Woody Hayes Ohio State bobblehead. Okay. So once we got past age 6 or 7, he's like, I'm not putting the tree up anymore. You know that Santa's not real. Sorry if there's kids out there.
Hopefully not in the car with the kid.
We might have to, Josh, we're going to need to block that one out.
Yeah, we might need to block that one out.
But anyways, he wouldn't put the tree up. He would just put that out there, and that's what we kind of use. But yeah, I would tell anybody, even, you had a friend the other day that just did a wellness check. He just calls friends.
I love that.
You said that he would just call friends. He's just, hey, I'm just checking in on you. How you doing, buddy? So, I mean, if you have the time, you're doing nothing, you're on a long drive, call one of your friends, call your family. Hey, how are you? Talk about them. And then
I love the transition to, hey, how are you? Maybe we'll make a nice positive message with that alongside double meaning. Talk to me about your Easter. What'd you do?
It was good. We didn't do too much. Obviously, we hit Easter eggs with everything. Riker had the Easter bunny.
A complete 180 from Dad.
Yeah, for sure. I realized where my dad was a little weak, and I'm trying to be that dad.
Thankfully, you know what? We love that.
Thankfully, Haley pushes me to make sure those holidays are special, and I really see the value in it now as I'm older, especially being a dad. But we did good. He did really good. He went to the Celina one up here at the courthouse where they hit Easter eggs and everything else like that. Did that, and then we had a debate in our family on my wife's side. Haley wanted a holiday ham that I make when I smoke, and it's a good brown mustard.
A great pick.
It's
a great pick.
And I just said, I don't want ham for Easter. I don't love ham like that. So we put it in the group chat in the family, and it was a vote. It was 7-1. Everybody wanted smoked pulled pork that I made, and only Haley wanted ham.
So talk to me real quick about let's do it's draft day. We were remiss not to do a quick draft. I mean, maybe we can keep it to 2 dishes. Let's just do a short draft, right?
Okay.
I can come up with more on the fly, but I like this one particularly well. It's Easter.
Okay.
Give me your You did pulled pork, and I don't care what this text message said. You did pulled pork. What is your number one draft pick? You're on the clock. Round one. Pick one. What's your number one pick for Easter meals?
Easter, there's one top echelon pick. It's Easter. There's eggs. Deviled eggs is the one.
Wow. I wish I
1.1.
went first because that would have been my pick. I should have called and traded up on this one because I tell you what,
I'll tell you what, we'll do snake draft. You get 2 and 3, then I get 4.
All right, if I'm going 2. Honestly, I'm going to go then with our nice, consistent offensive lineman. You're going to have him. You're going to need him every time. I'm going ham on the side. I got to take the ham.
On the side?
No, I'm just taking a ham.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying
yeah,
I'm
we're
taking
good.
a ham.
Okay.
That's an easy pick. If you took deviled eggs, I'm taking ham. And then, let's see. If I'm going to do this right, if I'm going to take a long shot, the guy's he's a consistent burner. Sometimes the ant burns it. Sometimes she makes it right. Sometimes it's the freaking Mac Daddy, and sometimes it's the worst thing you can. It's a flashy wide receiver pick. For the third pick in this little snake trap, I'm going to take green bean casserole.
Damn, that's good. Haley actually makes very good green beans. She cooks them down with some bacon and everything else like that. Great pick. This might be a Ray/Anthony family thing, my mom's maiden name. Give me cheese potatoes, man.
Wow. What kind of, you going to do the scalloped or you going to do the cube?
Like the cubed or the shredded. OG cheese potatoes.
I took a risk on that one. I took a risk on the flashy wide receiver pick. Maybe we'll get a Christian Watson Green Bay
I got a
shout-out.
reliable tight end like Dallas Goedert, baby.
He's going to be in the league for 17 years. You're never going to have to worry about that
He's
guy.
going to haunt you on third down.
That is a fantastic little draft we had there. But let's get back to...
One thing quick before I thought about that. I told my buddy, shout out Rob when he works for us on the food truck.
Shout out to Rob.
You mentioned your mom's birthday. Guess what? We went on Saturday before Easter. We went, and it's Macklin's birthday. His son Mac turned 2. So Mac, happy birthday from the dads,
free brand
baby.
deals, Mac. You know,
Rob's
Rob's gonna
dad
have
works for us. So
all right,
we'll just $1 less
coming
an hour
out of your
next shift.
paycheck, Rob. Well, before we get back to the action and before we kind of, start talking more about the Moose and the draft as we get closer and closer to the actual round one of the draft, can you talk to us about operations? We've got look, I looked at the schedule here in May, and it is jam freaking packed.
Yep.
I mean, genuinely jam freaking packed. What can you say about the events coming up? Talk to us about operations. Where are we at in the commissary for the Two Dads listeners that maybe not care about football, having a little fun with us along the side, some new kind of style of a podcast for this week that differentiates from the garage. What can you tell us about what's coming up from us? What can they expect from the Two Dads?
Yeah, we got a lot of events this month. So we'll start it off early in the month. We'll go for the next week and a half. And on May 3rd, which would be next Saturday, which when you're listening to this on Tuesday would be this Saturday, we're going to be at the Rockford Brewery at Second Crossing up there, which that's going to be fun. We're going to be out there during the day. We're going to follow it up on May 4th with a Color Dash.
That's in Maria Stein, right?
Yeah, that's in Maria Stein.
They booked us. I want you to know before I over talk over you. They booked us last year. I'm not kidding. In like September of last year, like I was full-fledged season. Like, are you taking 2025? And I was like, are you serious?
I'm just trying to get through this week.
I'm like, bro, I barely got my pants on coming out the door.
Yeah, so we have them, and then that following Tuesday we have the Minster Bank. So we're extending our network a little bit, like we said. We had Taylor Carter out there. She works for Minster Bank. She wanted us to come out there. We'll be in Minster, downtown Minster, right by Minster Bank on the road there, from 11 to 2 on a Tuesday. So, if you work at Dana and you work in Minster, Bremen, come on down, stop us. We'll be there during the day, serve you guys some lunch.
You had a dream. You talked to me about Minster. I'll be fair. I don't know if we had enough branding presence. I'm very cognizant of our brand. Bill's going to be the operations guy. I'm the brand guy. What he goes to bed thinking about every night is not what I go to bed and think about every night. I went to bed thinking, can we sell in Minster? Will people from Minster show up? And I went to bed. I think I texted you, and I woke up at like 2 a.m, and I had like not a vision. I wouldn't say I'm like some kind of like clairvoyance here. I'm not like crossing over with what was that guy's name? I can't remember the.
I don't
TV
know that
show.
one. So you. Yeah,
well, I watched a lot of TV growing up, so that's the difference. Somebody's going to comment on our Spotify for that. John Edwards, got it. Sorry, I beat you guys to it. But here, what I'm saying.
Haven't even listened yet.
Too late. Don't even comment. But the real response there is that I was unsure about going to Minster. I was unsure about our territory because I always want to make sure that we've won the territory or well known in that territory. And I had a vision. I texted you at like 2 a.m. I was like, Bill, I think we can sell here. I think word of mouth is going to do this. And then you texted me the next day that you had a dream about it.
Yeah, I woke up. It was like 6 a.m. and I texted him back. Mitch and I are different sleep schedules. He's up way later. I'm up way earlier usually. But I texted him and I said, I had a dream that we made it to Oktoberfest this year. And if you've never been to Oktoberfest, it is bonkers. So I don't really know if it's in the cards this year. I had a dream, but that kind of made me feel good about Minster. And we're branching out. Portland was a success. You know, we questioned Portland. Portland was a great success. We've had multiple people reach out to us about coming back to Portland.
Portland's gone crazy, bro.
Yeah, they got
we were there once.
Fever, baby.
Oh my God, they really do got daddy fever over there.
Yes, sir. So I think as we keep branching out, it'll keep growing it. But that's what we need for that second truck. I mean, when we talk that we want a second truck operationally, that's what we need. We don't have enough for 2 trucks just here in Mercer County and Celina. We need to branch out, extend our network a little bit, and that's what we're trying to do. So that's going to be good. And then we do, unfortunately, have some bad news operationally.
What's that?
We are at the Celina Moose 1473, and we love
Shout
it.
out.
Shout out. That's a paid ad, but we're not going to be able to make it back to Moose Stock this year.
Well, it's not that sadness to me because I knew this news already. But we'll let's see which one's Crickets. Crickets looks like this one. So sorry. We're gonna do that. I love that cuts everything out. We're still learning the buttons. I'm certainly not gonna learn it at the Moose. Yeah, we won't be able to make it to Moose Stock. It was a blast last year. Me, Berkey, and Tasha worked that event, and it was awesome. It was awesome all the way up to a point when people were so drunk that like they were yelling at Tasha, and then she's like, "I can't even hear your order." I don't know what you're saying. And they're 3 sheets to the wind, dude. They're like, "Can I get a hot dog?" You're like, dude, did you just say McChicken? Like, what's going on? We had a blast up there, but like it was one of my favorite events of the year. We obviously did great. It's not hard to feed very drunk people. I'm a little sad that we won't be able to be at it this year, but we have new things on the horizon that you'd book for this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cost of doing these fairs also costs the limit of, extending to all the other events. So we will be at the fair at the same time, and unfortunately they end the same day as Moose Stock. So that is unfortunate. But
which fair is it again?
I think that one's the All Glaze County Fair.
Okay, All Glaze County Fair.
I don't remember for sure. Don't quote me. But, yeah, it will be the same time as Moose Stock. So that does suck a little bit for us because we love it. I mean, I had a great time. I go to Moose Stock every year just as a fan. Come out here.
Yeah,
my buddies
it was a
always
blast.
come up.
I've never been. Truthfully, I've been in Columbus for so long. I had never been. I wasn't even that big into drinking at the time when I was home for a while. But it was so much fun.
Yeah, and even Zach said it. What's his favorite event? Moose Stock. It's such a great event. And that's not even a paid ad. I've been there for 5 or 6 years in a row. My buddies all come up from Cincinnati. My mom came last year. She ended up just getting blackout drunk.
Got lit up, baby.
Lit up. She's like, "Oh, they have McGillicuddies. Let's do a few shots."
Hey, real quick, because we talked about a lot of like not being theirs, and that's sad, and I get it and stuff. We'll try to make it back next year. Talk to him about something crazy that happened with the Cincinnati Reds, though. We almost got scammed with the Cleveland Indians, which is fine. Neither of us are Indians fans. This one's legit, I think. Berkey texted me the other week. He's like, dude, that's probably a scam too, because it would be a 3-burger, and they say bad things come in threes. But you can tell me right now, the Cincinnati Reds reached out to us because of our podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, talk to him about it.
So one of our guys that we sponsor, the Mighty Ducks Golf League, Eric Kunkler, so shout out Kunkler. He says, hey, I got a buddy that works for the Cincinnati Reds. He says, I heard about the Indian scam. Would you guys really want to come down there for the Reds possibly? 100%, Eric. I said, shoot that email out. So he shot his email to one of his buddies and contacts at the Cincinnati Reds. That guy emailed back and says, hey, I'm not the right guy, but I like this. Here's the new contact. I'm going to forward your information to that contact. So and the domain is @reds.com.
It was the actual email address. So I am the actual Indians manager at Yahoo.
So we have that opportunity. Hopefully that connects. So that's one where it's like, I know that the Reds are going to give us a date, and it's going to be like the middle of fair week. We're like, we got a decision to make here.
Dude, I mean, what would you? We got to take the fair. I mean,
you got to take the fair.
You got to take the fair.
We can say, hey, you pick any date in 26.
I think even being invited to the dance is just as good as going to the dance, right? Like being selected as the person and being able to turn them down. That's kind of sexy, right? You don't necessarily have to go.
Imagine if they came out there and they're just like, hey, we want one of you guys to throw out an opening pitch.
Stop.
The chicken is so good. I want you to throw out the opening pitch.
This has changed my life. You need to come throw the opening. Who would do it? Would it be you or me? It's gotta be you.
I'm
It's gotta
throwing,
be
you're
you.
catching. Yeah, I just think
we're
pitching and
already two
catching.
dads, bro. You can't be talking about pitching and catching. We're two dads. That's not it. Oh, but goodness gracious, that is a great. I'm excited about that potential connection with the Reds. I can't believe it. But another thing you were looking at while we're on operations was New Balance shoes. Talk to me about the New Balance too.
So I saw it on Instagram, and there was, if you guys don't know, on the side of our truck, it says "Mom's out of town, so Dad's cooking." And in our back logo, there's like a spatula, some New Balance shoes, trying to really embody the dadness of the brand. And I saw these New Balances, and they're kind of sleek and stylish. And I was like, dude, we should just rock these babies, whether it's on the podcast or the truck. And Mitch is just like, I think we get them for the whole truck. And then I was
I always want to have I always want to have everybody in uniform. If I have the opportunity to have like this dad look, I would. Now, Berkey will fight me on that because he likes to have his personalities in his truck, in the truck, about his shirts and what he wants to wear. And so we printed uniforms for people. It didn't quite work the exact same, but I would love to have some kind of matching shoe.
I think Berkey be okay with the shoe, but Berkey brought up a good point. I said, I like standardization. I'm an operations guy. It looks nice when you pull up to the truck and everybody's wearing matching shirts. It just looks very professional, especially on a food truck level.
Yeah.
But Berkey brought up a good point, and this is how I met you too a little bit. We talked about shirts when we first met, and Berkey's like, well, that's like my personality. People stop me and they say, oh, I like that shirt.
I love Goosebumps.
Yeah, I love Goosebumps shirt. Or, whether it's a homage shirt or anything like that. You stopped me the first time I ever got two dads, and I was wearing an Alvin Kamara Saints NFL Blitz homage shirt. You're like, hey, Kendre Miller, what do you think about him? I said, he's going to be great. And I was so far off basis on that. That guy hasn't played it down in the NFL, really.
Yeah, I had him on my fantasy team, so it was a good. But he's right. What he's saying is like icebreakers, and part of two dads is the personality. The personality. Whether you're watching me and chit chatting and talking, great. And whether you're watching Bill chit-chatting in his own way, or Berkey, or Rich, or Tasha, or Haley, or Maria, or anybody that's on this team, he's basically saying that the culture of two dads is a homogenation of everybody involved.
Yeah.
And he's right. He wore a Transit Call of Duty shirt the other week, and he was like, dude, people were like, dude, is that Transit? Yep. And he wears like Goosebumps and stuff. So, I'm just glad we got that because these shirts get really stinky. Yeah. What we're not saying is like standing next to Friars does not make you come out smelling like roses. So at least we can say, Bill, we bought him some company shirts. If you choose to wear that unique personality shirt that now smells like shit, it's like good on you.
Yeah, and I think that's it. You give them the option. If they don't want to wear it, fine. We're not going to be, monopoly saying you have to wear this, you have to wear this. But I think if we buy the New Balances, we say you have to wear them. They'd be great. They're slip resistant. They're fast. They look good. They're sleek. They're cheap. It's a good expendable.
Well, for those that are listening right now, obviously you've been following along with us in this podcast this far. We are at the Celina Moose Lodge 1473 for the NFL draft, and man, this is totally surreal.
Shout out Berkey.
Shout
Beer
out Berkey,
delivery
just
right here, baby.
Bringing us beers, baby. We love that. We just talked about you with the Goosebumps and your Transit shirts and how it might be stinky on the truck sometimes, but you wanted to show your personality. He's very much on our team with that. We are at the Celina Moose Lodge 1473 here for the NFL draft, and man, this is surreal. It is. If you had said this was all possible in the beginning, I might not have believed you. And a quick ad break from our sponsors, though. Saddle up, because the Kentucky Derby is coming to the Celina Moose Lodge 1473, and it isn't just any watch party. It's your chance to sponsor a horse, bet on the races, and walk away with more than just bragging rights. It's all for a great cause, too, and yeah, you might take home some serious green. So throw on your wildest hat, bring your lucky charms, and join us for one of the most fun nights of the year right here at Celina Moose Lodge 1473. That'll take place on May 3rd, Saturday. May 3rd, you can come out here and join the Kentucky Derby. Dress up. Gabe's waving right here. He's so happy we're making this plug. Dress up for the event. Bet on a horse. It's for a good cause. And make sure you try out Celina Moose Lodge 1473's new Kentucky Derby Day. You ever been to the Kentucky Derby before?
Yeah, I went with a bachelor party one time with some guys from Marion. I didn't even really know them that well, but they needed like 4 or 5 guys to fill out the party bus. So I went there with Rob Wentzy, actually. I generally went to Goodwill and got a suit jacket, cut the sleeves off of it, I got a picture, and it's just a deep V. The crowds are getting pumped.
Crowd
here,
is getting pumped here.
Ah, damn. But yeah, deep V. I had a sunburn so deep from that suit jacket. It was wild. So yeah, if you've never been to the Kentucky Derby, you like sports, you like horses, you like gambling or drinking, you need to go. It's incredible.
Yeah, I would like to get out there myself. Hey, Brooke! Brooke! They just turned so much noise. Is it gone now? Is it?
I think it's down a little bit. We'll get them to turn it down. It's down now. We're
okay,
good.
they
I think
turned
were
it
just
down.
getting the hype.
Holy smokes, that was
was fun,
blaring in the background, although I am a huge fan of the national anthem. You're a big fan of drafts. I'm not such a big fan of drafts, but what are you most looking forward to as a Saints fan here today?
Yes, I'm a Saints fan. We have a terrible quarterback, Derek Carr, so I'm out of the car. So I want a quarterback. I think we go at 9. We go lineman. We trade up to 17 or 18. We have Jackson Dart, baby. It's Dart season. Let's go, boys. What about the Packers? Another lineman every year?
I hope not. I think, they're probably, defensive end and a linebacker. No, actually, I think they need a quarterback this year, some offensive linemen, but I think this might be the year. This might be the year that we get a wide receiver that's not Christian Watson in the 3rd round.
I've held him on a dynasty league too long.
I did too, and it was it just pissed me off every year because you got about 2 minutes of playing time, and it didn't exactly work out.
So these guys have seen the wheel over here, right? You can see it if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, you can't see it, but you got to watch YouTube. They've got a drink wheel here.
Yeah, talk to me about the drink wheel because we've talked about the moose, we talked about the atmosphere, we talked about all this energy going on. In fact, you just heard it blaring just a little bit ago. But talk to us about the wheel. That's a special wheel, and are we going to keep up with that wheel?
I'm going to do my damnedest to keep up with that wheel because I don't have to work tomorrow. So I'm
same here, buddy.
We're giving it a rip, baby. I got an optometrist appointment at 10 a.m. Other than that, but the wheel is awesome. So
you want to go golfing?
After my optometrist at 10, I'll go golfing like 10:30.
Perfect. Sounds
Line
good.
of links. Let's go.
All right, continue though.
So we just booked tea time. That's great. But there's 8 locations on that wheel, and they spin it, and there's different options. I'd have to read it. It's kind of hard to read from here. Pineapple shots, $1. Drunky cherry shots, $1. Dr. McGillicuddy shots, $1. Beer or well drink for $1. $1 pudding shots, and then a house buy.
For having an optometrist appointment, you're reading that wheel. It's not that close. I mean, dude, I'm over here like I wouldn't even give it a shot.
But they do have a house buy, so they spin that wheel, and they spin it every pick. So the first pick on the wheel, like they go up and they say Titans are up. They spin this wheel, and until the next pick, the specials are live for that. So you could go out and buy $51 McGillicuddy shots. You'll be face down the lake later, but you could do it.
I plan on being face down on the lake later. I might be the Hodag, the lake monster. Shout out to the Lakers.
This year they got a really good one. They have 2 wheels this year. You can kind of see them in the background. If one of the slots lands, we lost Jim Monroe here this year in February, and it's an ode to him. He used to love to buy drinks for everybody. So if it lands on that, it kicks to the second wheel, which is all of Jim's friends, and they're all on the hook. So if they land on that, they spin the wheel again. All their friends have a spot on the second wheel. So if it lands on Gabe Archer, Gabe's got to buy a round of drinks for everybody.
I just can't, it's so hard to express what this is like from people that are not from town. Right? Like if they're like, what's Celina, Ohio? What's Mercer County about? This would be the epitome of it. We sit around, we have a good time. The people this place is packed. I can't tell you. I'm surprised we can get the sound out of our equipment right here. We all gather. We have a great sense of community. We have a great sense of having fun. And boy, does Mercer County like to drink. So we've got ourselves 2 wheels here that's going to set us off to a great evening. I'm excited to. No work, maybe some golf tomorrow, but it's going to be, it's a really cool experience. This is Mercer County personified.
100%. I'm excited for it. So, we had Jim Monroe pass, like I said. So we, rest in peace, Jim. And we will have a little teaser on what we'll have for an event for Jim later this summer.
Yeah, we have some stuff that I want to announce coming up. We're actually going to bring Gabe on here in a few minutes to talk about Jim. And for those that don't know, maybe you can give some background on who Jim was, just a little bit. We keep throwing this name out there. I want everybody to have context. He was a major and critical part of the Moose Lodge, Celina Moose Lodge specifically, 1473. And we'd be remiss not to use some of our time here to talk about how special he was. Obviously, we're going to have Gabe on here coming soon. But Bill, can you talk a little bit about who Jim was and just give us just some base context before Gabe comes on?
Yeah, Jim was one of the main administrators here for the Moose for over 40 years. I don't know what years he held the positions and things like that, but overall, he was a big part of growing the Moose and everything like that. So they lost him in February. I know his son works here, and he's got a lot of good friends that work here, and Gabe's one of them. So I'll let Gabe talk a little bit more about him. He knew him better, but anytime I'd see him out there, hey, you want a beer? Hey, you want a beer? So he was just a great damn guy, and he lived a good life, but, Every time is too soon, it feels like.
We talk about that earlier in the podcast. Make sure you call those loved ones because you just never know. But I tell you what, let's actually bring Gabe on here to talk about just who Jim was. Let's use a little bit of this airwaves to get a couple stories out of Gabe. And who is Gabe to the Moose Lodge?
So Gabe was an officer of, I don't know the rankings of the officers. So he was an officer here, but he actually just took, I think, the same position that that Jim was at Bell Fountain Moose. So Gabe worked full-time in Coldwater in a machine shop, quit his job, and his full-time job is running the Bell Fountain Moose. So he took it from Celina to Bell Fountain, and I've known him for 10 to 15 years, and he does a lot of good in the community. He's a great guy. I beat him in JV baseball 3 years in a row. Ask him about that. So we coached against each other in JV baseball. So Gabe's a great guy, too.
Well, let's bring Gabe on now to talk about Jim, just to get a little bit of promo, get a little bit of background, nostalgia on there, and pay tribute to one of the Moose's former members. All right, so we've got Gabe here from Celina Moose Lodge 1473. Gabe, how you feeling today? How you doing?
I'm a Browns fan. It's not a good day.
I'm a Packers fan. I'm hoping it's going to be one of the drafts that we're happy about. We just teased Jim Monroe before you got on here. We wanted to bring you on. Before we get to that, tell people who you are. What do you do for the Celina Moose Lodge?
Celina Moose Lodge, currently I'm president. My 2-year term's getting ready to expire. I'll go to past president. Longtime member, 2001 I joined, so you do the math. I'm not a mathematician tonight.
Same. We talk about this on the podcast. I'm horrible with math. The reason Bill is here because of my math skills.
Numbers. Yep.
So, talking about Jim, we talked about his passing, and it was as unfortunate as it is. How long have you known Jim? And I know you two were close. What did he mean to you?
He meant a lot to the whole community, obviously, but to me, myself, a ton. Jim's grandfather was brothers with my great-grandfather. Didn't know that until I came out here, but it was interesting to learn. And he got me signed up when I was 21, got out here, included me in part of the things, kept telling me work hard, do this and that, and I'll get to where I need to be. And probably more than a mentor, more of a friend / mentor, and God, the guy did a lot for this community.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit more about that. You know, that was the first thing Bill said when he came on here. He's like, Jim did so much for this community. Can you talk to me? You talked about mentorship. Bill made it sound like he was a mentor to the community as well. Like he really was giving. He was really selfless. Can you tell me a little bit more about Jim's legacy to the community in general?
So with Jim, let's just put into perspective right now, Celina Moose Lodge has already donated over $100,000 locally this year alone, and that's through March. So you got 3 months, and you got local donations like that. I think they just did a cheers to Jimmy. Cheers to Jimmy.
Cheers to Jimmy.
Love you, brother.
Cheers to you, brother. We just took a little cheers there.
Yes, but none of this happens without Jim, because his vision, everything that he kind of brought into the Moose, moving from uptown out here and then adding on. And it wasn't just Jim, it was a lot of people along the way that jumped in and helped out, absolutely. But the one consistent was Jim. And there's a lot there for him and his family, obviously. You don't get this by doing it all yourself, but there's so much there that all of us officers have so many good memories with. And draft day was definitely one of them.
We're so happy to be here. The one thing I want to ask you before we go on to the next segment is, what is Jim Monroe Day? You guys have asked the two dads to come out here. We're proud to announce that we'll be out here for Jim Monroe Day. It's going to be on June 4th, Wednesday, June 4th. We'll be donating a portion of our proceeds from the truck back to Jim. So we'll make sure that we do our part. Can you tell listeners who are tuning in, what is Jim Monroe Day? What can they expect? Why should they come out? Just give them some output from that.
So Jim Monroe Day, Jim Monroe Founders Day, it's his birthday. So every year on June 4th, Celina Moose Lodge is going to host one hell of a party. And this year, we hooked up with Steve Rosenbeck, and we asked Steve, hey, Chickasaw Cowboy, can you help us out? Can you get us a lineup? And he goes, what do you think? And so we talked to him, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit, gave him some ideas. And we've got live music on Wednesday, June 2nd from 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night.
And you know the two dads are going to be rocking out there, just serving up some delicious food as well. I'm sure you can come inside and get some of the great food here that they offer at Celina Moose Lodge 1473. But one of the most important things is that we want to honor Jim. He meant a lot to this lodge. He meant a lot to this community. I did not have the great fortune to meet him, but I can tell you, even being a new member, I just got my membership card today. They handed it to me. Thank you so much.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of the family.
You know, we love being a part of the family. That's one thing we said. Even this entire podcast, this doesn't happen without the Celina Moose Lodge 1473. But one thing that doesn't happen being on the podcast is before you go, we always have a special game for our guests, and we wondered if you wanted to play.
I'm in.
So for members listening, I'd like to take a moment to talk about our infamous and classic Two Dads game that just was invented yesterday called Roster or Imposter. It's a draft day game. Are you up for it, Gabe?
I'll fail, but yes.
Okay, I'm about to read off some names, some far-out names from the NFL players, and some of them are real NFL player, legit names who have been on actual NFL rosters. Others I made up completely, total fakes. So your job is simple. Tell me if they were on a roster or if they're an imposter.
All right.
All right, are you ready?
Sure.
Hold on a sec. We got some...
Bill Ray's right in front of me. He's going down.
Celina Moose Lodge NFL draft is going off right now.
Might have the first wheel. First spin of the wheel.
This is really kicking off for those that are tuning in. Here we go. Matt Salzman, the one that wears all the jerseys,
Class of 98.
winning the first wheel. We talked about it earlier, Gabe. The wheel is a big part of the Celina Moose Lodge.
Yes, absolutely. Every year, it's something to look forward to. We even did this during COVID. House buys round number one.
First round number one.
That means everybody gets a drink on the house.
And everybody is pumped. We love to hear that. Shout out to Celina Moose Lodge 1473 for having that happen.
We do have something pretty special for the second pick for the Browns.
This is more of a Browns bar, right?
Well, not necessarily. We welcome everybody, but there's a lot of idiots like myself that are Browns fans.
Longtime idiots, right?
God, it's torture. Legal torture.
Well, here we go. Let's go back to the game, Roster Imposter. For our members listening, I'd like to take a moment to play the infamous game, Roster Imposter. Gabe, I'm going to give you some names of real NFL players, legitimate names who have actually been on an NFL roster. Others, I've completely made up, total fakes. Your job is simple. Tell me if they've been on a roster or if they're an imposter.
Sounds good. Uh-oh. Matt's got his jersey off. Somebody help him.
That's great. Did they already make the first pick?
I don't think yet.
We do have some special 2025.
Not
Wait,
yet.
once Brian's done, we'll go through it.
Draft party coolie cups to give out. Of course, we'll be coming around with that, so be on the lookout.
The family bought the coolie cups.
All right. Your job is simple, Gabe. Tell me if they've been on a roster or if they're an imposter. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Chad Thunderbrick.
Imposter.
That's correct, imposter. LeCarpetron Duke Marriott.
Imposter.
That's an imposter. Ubadiah Trundle.
Let's go with imposter.
That's
roster,
an imposter.
I mean.
Oh,
I meant roster. I meant roster.
He said roster. Ha Clinton Dix.
Oh, that's a Packer.
That's right. Toby Sprinkles.
Ooh, sounds good. Roster.
That's an imposter.
Damn it.
Equiminius St. Brown.
That's a receiver. Bears. He's a roster.
He's a roster. Takaris McKinley.
That's a roster.
Quavarius Slopkins.
Imposter.
That's an imposter. Kool-Aid McKinstry.
That's a roster. Another Packer.
Barcavius Mingo.
That's a Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, you did damn well, Gabe.
Damn it, I missed one.
You almost got all of them. Gabe crushed our game. Gabe, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll be seeing you at Jim Monroe Day on June 4th.
Can't wait.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having the
guys.
Two Dads
You
podcast.
guys are awesome.
We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, Bill, welcome back, dude. Welcome back. We just had an amazing interview about Jim Monroe with Gabe. He sat with us. It was truly incredible. What an amazing interview. But I told him I just became a new Moose member.
Yeah, congratulations, buddy.
I know. I just got everything in the mail, but I want to stay on target here because just to my left, while we were getting ready to do the interview, They spun the wheel. Can you talk to me about this infamous wheel that just spun and
It's not
explain?
infamous. It's famous, baby.
It's famous, baby. You're right. It's good.
So the wheel that you see back here, they spun it. Matt Salzman was the first guy to spin it. He walked in and looked like a celebrity to come in here.
Yeah, they cut the promo. Like, he walked in. He's wearing every jersey. He was on the camera a little bit ago.
Yeah, he's probably like, I'd say he's 165 pounds, I'm guessing. Sorry, Matt, if you're heavier than that or lighter than that. But he has like 16 to 17 jerseys on. He looks huge. Well, what happens is when they spun the wheel, it was going around, and he literally stopped it with his finger right when it got house buys.
You gotta think. I just did an interview with Gabe about Jim Monroe, and that I didn't have the privilege to meet him, but that feels very Jim Monroe.
Jim's very proud of Matt Salzman right
would have
there.
loved Matt Salzman stopping that. You know, we got to get him on here.
I think we can. Hey, we'll holler at him here in a minute.
Do you think we can holler at him? Because
you can see him there. He's wearing the Giants jersey in the camera.
If you're watching on YouTube,
but he
you
looks
can check
like
him out
he's
right now.
30 pounds heavier than what he is. And what happens is when you spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, so it landed on, let's say, $1 McGillicuddy shots. If you're wearing your own jersey with it, you get double the prize, I'm pretty sure.
So if I was wearing a Packers jersey, I'd be able to go up there and get double everything when it's my pick, right?
Yeah, when it's your pick. So it's when the Packers are picking and you have the jersey on, then you get the benefit.
We got to get this guy on because I have so many questions about how does he fit so many jerseys? Like, what happens if there's a trade up?
Yeah, let's get him on because we can see him. He looks huge. So he's literally.
He looks jacked, dude.
I got
He's
a
walking
video
around jacked.
when you were doing Gabe Archer, when you were interviewing Gabe, and he had, when you got the pads on, you need someone to help you pull it on. They had to pull the Titans jersey off of him. That's how tight it was on there. Now he's got a Giants jersey on all of a sudden, which is just hilarious. So he didn't want to do the Browns one because someone was wearing the honorary Browns one, I think, for Jim. So he just said he's skipping the Browns. He's going straight to the Giants at 3. So it's going to be incredible. I'm going to holler at him.
The commitment to the game to do that is if you can get him on this podcast, I'll walk away right now. Go holler at him. Let's see if you can get him.
Let me get him.
Yeah,
let me finish this pull tabs. I got some pull tabs. I'm going to try to rip a winner on here. We got Riker right here who's trying to pull some pull tabs, but I'm gonna. Hey, you know what? You sit right here. You talk to people. I'm gonna go ask if I can't go get him on. This is great. You got on here. You were the first one in. I saw you walk in, and
it's hard to miss me.
I told him. I said it looks like you packed on 15 pounds, but it's just jerseys.
Right. I mean, a lot of people ask, "Hey, are you working out or whatever?" I mean, I'm like, well, maybe, but I try to hide it.
Yeah, I understand. So I saw you walk in through the bar. I think it was your wife or your girlfriend was in there, and she was carrying. Wife. Congratulations. She was carrying,
15 years next
15
week.
years. How many jerseys was she carrying?
7.
7? How many you got on right now?
26 or 25. 20? No, I take that back. 24 because I figured there's enough Browns fans here.
Yeah, you got to cover on there.
That's why I went from Titans to Giants.
So you're a Bengals fan though?
Who day?
Who day? All right, I'm a Saints fan. Who dat?
Who dat?
Who dat? We got the Who's.
Okay,
we got
that's
the Who's.
right. That's right.
How long ago did this start? I mean, what made you want to do this?
Well, I always had kind of like a vision of my man cave.
Yeah.
To have, be a football place, someplace I can go down to and just chill out. And I was like, that'd be pretty cool to have a jersey from every team on the walls. So, we went ahead and took a couple years to go ahead and acquire them all. And was talking to Jim one year, Monroe, God rest his soul, and he was like, yeah, it'd be cool to have a draft party here. And I was like, well, if you're going to have a draft party, you got to have a drink wheel. And he goes, well, yeah. I mean, can't just make stuff up. And I'm like, all right. I said, I'll tell you what, but you should have a rule that, you can't spin the wheel unless you got the team's jersey on.
That's the rule. Okay, we were curious about what the rule was with the jerseys.
And I was like, you caught me behind the what?
A sheep barn.
Sheep barn.
Keep going. You're
man.
good.
So anyway, I was like, you got to have the jersey on to spin the wheel. Yeah. And I was like, I got the perfect guy for you. You could spin it all the time.
So do you spin it every year all the time?
A good majority of it,
okay.
yeah.
There's a lot.
I mean, there's not, how many Giants fans you see?
Well, that's what we were talking as we were walking by. So I saw a Dolphins fan, I saw a Bears fan. We're seeing all these random fans, and even like me, I didn't wear my Saints stuff. I got a Jackson Dart hat. We're drafting Jackson Dart, baby. Dart season. So if you guys would let me, I would love to spin it for the Saints.
Absolutely.
I'll take pick 9.
I tell you what, I got a Drew Brees
pick 9. It's meant to be, baby. I don't know what size it is. I'll suck it
well,
in.
You look like you work out too.
Yeah, I try, baby. Yeah. So you've been doing this for how many years would you estimate this? And if you started it,
Well,
10 or 15 years?
I do know. Like I said, the wife and I's 15 is next week.
Yeah.
We did miss it when we went out of town for our 5-year, and I want to say that was like the second year that it was going on. So I'm going to say 12 years.
Damn, that's impressive.
12, 13 years, something like that.
So let's just, I think the Giants, we got Cam Ward, number 1 overall. No shocker there.
Yeah, not much of a surprise.
Yeah, number 2 is going to be fun. So you're a Bengals fan. Let's do this, right?
Okay.
I'm unbiased. The Browns have 2 options, right? Hunter or Abdul Carter. There's no other options unless they get a haul of picks to come up
What
with
about
2.
Shador?
I hope
Come
they pick
on,
Shador.
man.
I hope they pick Shador.
Dude, I would love it.
Because
if
we
they
all know
picked
where
Shador.
that's going. We'll clip that.
No, but honestly, if I was Cleveland, Abdul Carter.
I go
man.
Carter. I agree.
Put
man.
it on the other side with Miles.
It's
That
too
would be-
easy, so they're not going to do it.
I mean, Burrow's got his receivers.
Yeah,
But he's gonna have to get that out in a second.
they're going to need to be running.
That's
baby.
right, because we ain't got a line.
So what happened? Let's just say let's act the Browns take Shador because we all know they're going to Brown, right?
Right.
And now we got Giants are up. And then let's I'm a role play here. I'm taking a random team and the Steelers trade up. How's the jersey work? Do you just
Oh, it's mad peeling then.
Oh, you do. You try to
Oh
rip.
yeah, we tried to.
I
Tried
need to trade up, dude.
But again, say the Steelers trade up. I mean, Chad will do
All
the
right, let's do the
Steelers.
Saints trade
Let's
from
say
9 to
that.
3.
9
Would you
to
shed
3.
6 jerseys?
I'd try. I mean, I need help, but I'd try.
I got a good video of it. We'll clip it, the YouTube video, when you were taking that one off. When, dude, if you guys have ever pictured, like, football players, right, they have to help put the pads on and stuff.
Right.
Matt needed help pulling this jersey, peeling it off of his back, and I got a good video of it. We'll keep going about it, but it is hysterical.
Breaking news, Bill. Browns just traded the pick.
Shut the
They
fudge up.
traded the pick.
Outta here. Are you serious? To who?
We got, hey, let's see
Oh,
it.
Jacksonville's on the. Hold
There's
up.
no
Here-
way they'd
There you
take-
go. You wanted to know what would happen.
Get it, take it off, help him. He's got to shed, what, 3 or 4 jerseys? He's got to shed them.
I just realized that breaking news ruins Matt's whole thing.
We just talking about.
Browns traded up.
I said, I'm like, what happens if the Saints trade up from 9 to 3? And he's just like, I'm shedding him. He's here. We're here. We're live.
You guys got it live. Matt's coming back for a couple minutes. Matt's coming back, just shedding into a different jersey.
We now have Maurice Jones-Drew. Live on the pod here. I love the jersey, first off.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's been going on for a while. It's been a while since MJD's been there, but that's what we do. I mean, it's the draft.
All right, then I'm gonna role play with here. We talked about the Browns. That's a good trade for the Browns. I haven't seen what they get for them yet, but they're getting a haul, I think. I guess they're trading back 3 or 4 picks, probably. Now Shadur's in the ballpark, though.
I don't think so.
You don't
I
think
don't think
Shadur's there
Shador.
at 5 or 6?
I think Travis Hunter came into play right now. Oh, you mean for the Browns?
If they traded from 2 to Jaguars, what, 5, I think?
How many jerseys did I take
3, so 5.
5.
Yeah, they were big and
Yeah,
fit.
because I didn't have the Browns.
So-
So 5.
Is it Shadur at 5? I hope so, dude. I
do.
hope so
I
bad.
do.
And I don't know the pull they're gonna
That
get.
would make my draft night.
We're both Browns fans.
I know, dude.
I don't love the Bengals, but if I have a team, I'm a Reds fan. I mean, I liked everybody. So my son was here earlier
Okay.
because Jamar Chase, when they were hot,
Oh,
he was
dude.
5, and he was a
I'm
Bengals fan. I said, no, you're not, Riker. But all his friends at Coldwater, Bengals fans.
Well, yeah.
So
I
I'm
mean,
like, I get
Coldwater,
it.
St. Henry, they're all Bengals.
Yeah,
fans.
so there's no Saints
I'm
fans
gonna
in
let
the
you in
area.
on a little secret though. I was madder than hell when they took Jamar. I wanted Penny Sewell, man.
And honestly, you look back,
because they had just
were
blown
great.
up Joe's knee.
both were
Just
great.
blown it up.
Yeah. So I mean, it's worked out for
Hey,
both franchises.
That's probably why Duke Tobin's there, and they don't let me do anything with the draft or player personnel or whatever. But hey, I still send the
here we go.
emails.
It's in. Okay. They get a
What'd they
26 first, a
Okay.
25 second and fourth, and a 5th, and they give up second overall pick
I
for it.
don't
That's
know
a
if I
haul
would've.
for the.
I don't know,
Man,
man.
they only moved back 3 spots.
Well, that's true.
They only moved back to
That's
5, and they
true.
got a first next year.
And it's the Browns.
I'm a Browns fan.
See, I mean, we even let the special
I
people
know.
in.
I'm good.
We
with-
love everybody.
Yeah, I'm
We
good
love
with it. So
everybody.
yeah, we'll see the we'll see the Jaguars here. We'll see what they do, and we'll cut out. But so you're a Bengals fan. Why don't you run through your best Bengals memory for me?
Best Bengals memory?
Yeah, not the Super Bowl loss, but your best memory.
Well, My best memory was a Super Bowl loss because my wife Leah and I went out to the Super Bowl
Did you go to the game?
3 years ago. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I
mean, we're still paying for it, but we went there.
Hey,
We went there, dude.
that's what I do the same for the Saints.
It's a bucket list item off the bucket list.
Yeah, so actually in 2009, the Saints won the Super Bowl. My dad, well, actually
Yeah.
2009 into 2010, so they won in February of 2010. My dad actually passed March of 2010. So my last big memory with my dad was winning the Super Bowl with the Saints. So it's always one of
That's
those weird things, right? So, but it's funny. I was 18 years old. I didn't drink in high school at all. And my dad literally.
You saying that because we're on air?
No, I'm dead serious.
Oh,
I had a
okay.
college baseball. I was pretty straight and narrow.
Oh,
I lost it though. I went
Did you?
straight off the team. Bush Light's great.
Oh, so you joined the cool group?
Yeah, they took Hunter. Okay.
See,
So,
I told you
you're
they
right,
would
you're
take
right.
Hunter,
All
man.
right. So what was funny was my dad. It was like 11 or midnight, and my dad is a very strict household. He says, "Hey, I need you to drive me to Kroger." I said, "What do we need at Kroger?"
Kroger?
He's like, "I need more beer." You need a beer?
Yeah, what I do?
You're gonna drink Bush Light,
Thank you.
God's
Heck
nectar.
yeah.
But yeah, so I drove him to Kroger at midnight just so he could get another 30 rack.
That's what I'm talking
Drove back.
about.
I was up with him
Good
till like
dude.
2 in the morning partying. I wasn't drinking. We were just vibing, right?
Right.
I wake up at like 7 for school, and I'm like, "Can I just go in 2 hours late?" No, get your ass to school.
That's right, baby. If you want to play, you got to pay.
That's how it was. So
That's
we got
it.
the Jaguars up. You got anything else you want to say? I appreciate you coming on here, a little impromptu.
Hey, man,
that
thank you
ain't for
having
everybody.
me.
That ain't for everybody.
Anytime, baby.
Well, maybe we'll be back here next year. We'll get a little bit more segment for you.
I'll be here.
Maybe I'll go out and get some.
Do so. Good.
Hey, the next
You know
year,
what?
the
Actually-
dads might be joining the cult next year, the Jersey cult.
What'd you say?
The dads might be joining the Jersey cult next year.
Dude, I'll do it next year.
I'll find eBay and find the best
I don't know how you
jerseys.
did I gotta have good. Tasha and Haley are gonna have to bring us the hangers, but you get a good assistant.
Yeah,
I mean, I got plenty of jerseys. I mean,
We'll
if
fit 'em in there.
That's right. We all three can share. Like I
I-
said, they're old school. I mean, I got Merriman
Even the
for a Bills.
older the
jersey.
better. I have an Aaron Brooks jersey I can still fit
What?
for the Saints.
Nah.
I swear to God.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
hey, I appreciate it, Matt.
All right, brother. Well,
We'll
hey,
see you
thanks
around.
for
We'll
having
get
me
you
on.
some drinks. You take that beer with you for the road. We'll hop mission.
right.
We'll switch some spots
Actually, if the Jaguars are on, I probably should spin.
back.
Has anybody spun?
I don't think so.
Hey, I got to go.
Get up there. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, okay.
How was that, Bill? How was that old? They traded pick mid thing. Like the thing you thought wouldn't happen did. Murphy's Law came into account.
Yeah, so we wanted to hold on for the Browns pick, right? Browns are now at 5. You think we can hold on for 3 more
No,
picks?
there's no shot we
All
can
right.
hang out. That'll go till 9 o'clock. Nobody's gonna listen to a podcast
No,
episode.
Matt
50.
was great, dude. And in the trade mid sentence for him to have to shed 3 jerseys in 2 seconds was incredible.
He was so on it, like he's done it a million times before.
Yeah, so shout out Matt Salzman. He's been doing it for like 12 to 15 years, he said. And he was one of the ones that originated the wheel idea with Jim.
He was one of the OGs.
He literally says, he's like, you need
so
like
he
a
has
drink
the
wheel.
ability to stop it on the free drinks.
100%. And you know what's funny? I asked him, I said,
He's getting the drinks. He's right. For those that are listening, he's right next to us, pulling off the next one. Darren McFadden jersey
So
showing now. Oakland on the clock.
I asked what this, I thought it was the drink special. No, you can't spin the wheel unless you have your team's jersey on. So he wants to spin it all the time. So usually like the Browns, Steelers, Bengals, he just doesn't touch because there's always a representative. And I said, hey, I'm not trying to be that guy, but the Saints pick at 9. You think I could rip that wheel? He's like, I got a Drew Brees jersey on. You put that on. So I'm putting the Drew Brees jersey on.
I
I'm
am
spinning
so
that wheel.
excited for that, to see that, to be a part of that.
Baby. He's got to put them back on now.
He's got to put it back.
Jaguars are in. What do we got?
You got to put him back on. Matt knows what he's talking about.
So,
The
yeah,
pick
I mean,
is in.
I think we got what? Travis Hunter, number 2.
Is that who's going?
Yeah.
It is Travis Hunter.
What about the Browns trade, though? I liked it. For the Browns, it's a good
I don't know
trade.
anything about the Browns football. I'm in the NFC North right now, where it's a cutthroat league. You might have heard the Detroit Lions are making a run. The Minnesota Vikings not too shabby. The Green Bay Packers fighting for it. And the
Jahmyr
Bears
Gibbs,
are only
baby.
getting stronger.
Yeah. You're in trouble.
I know, but let's hope this draft turns out to be very fruitful. I don't have much left, buddy. I think
No,
it's time
it's
for us to
getting
go
rowdy.
enjoy the draft. It's getting really rowdy out there.
Guys.
And I think we got enough out of this live podcast to give people the experience, to let them know next time they need to come to this draft party. I'm sure they're going to have us back. I'm sure we'll be back soon. I'm sure we'll be at another Moose Lodge, Celina Moose Lodge
100%.
1473 event. They're having a blast. They're giving us nice nods from the corner. It's amazing. But I think this gives listeners an experience of what Two Dads can do on the road and
100%.
what the Celina Moose Lodge 1473 could put on. It's been very special tonight.
Yeah, I had so much fun. Thank you, Moose. Thank you, fans. It's getting rowdy in here fast, and we're on pick 2. And we haven't even got to enjoy too many drinks tonight. So I'm going to sign off. I want to say thank you to everybody. And who dat? We got dart season coming, baby.
Thank you guys for listening to another Two Dads podcast episode. I'm your host, OG Pickle. It's live. It's loud. We hope you'll tune in next week.
You're